This lesson is on parallel and perpendicular slopes. Occasionally you'll see parallel symbolized like this and perpendicular symbolized like this, just so that you're aware of what those symbols mean. So we'll start with parallel slopes. In a coordinate plane, two non-vertical lines, so lines that are slanted, are parallel if and only if they have the same slope. So parallel lines might not have the same y-intercept, or they won't have the same y-intercept, but they will have the same slope. So looking at this example, I'm going to use rise over run. So here I'm going to go down 2, right 4, so that's negative 2 over 4 for line B, which is negative 1/2. And then for line A, I'm going to come down 1 and over 2. So they both have a slope of negative 1/2. So since the slope is the same, then these lines are parallel. So parallel slopes are relatively easy. Looking at perpendicular slopes, in a coordinate plane, two non-vertical, so two slanted lines, are perpendicular if and only if the product of their slopes is negative 1. So if you find the slope of each line and multiply it times each other, the product will be negative 1. Or the slopes will be negative reciprocals. So when I say negative reciprocals, what I mean is that if the slope of line A is negative 3, then the slope of line B would be positive 1/3. Horizontal lines will always be perpendicular to vertical lines. So if you have one line that has a slope of 0 and one line that has undefined slope, they will always be perpendicular. So looking at this example, we're going to do the same thing. Find the slope of each line and decide, are they negative reciprocals and is their product negative 1? So looking at line A, I'm going to go up 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So line A, slope is 1/5. Line B, I'm going to come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1. So these, unfortunately, are not negative reciprocals or giving me a product of negative 1. Because if I were to multiply these, I would get negative 6 over 5 instead of negative 1. So these are not perpendicular, nor are they parallel. They're just intersecting, which is fine. So I would have had to have line B with a slope of negative 5 if I wanted them to be perpendicular, or A could have been a slope of positive 1 over positive 6. So two ways to check it. Product can be negative 1 or they can be negative reciprocals. It doesn't matter which way you look at it, whichever is easier for you. So I want you to try these practice problems. Example 2 is looking for whether or not A and B are parallel. Example 5 is looking for whether or not A and B are perpendicular. So looking at example 2, I'm going to look at lines A and B. I'm going to come up 2 here and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 2 over 6, which is 1/3. My other line, I'm going to come up 4 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are not parallel because they do not have the same slope. In example 5, I'm looking for them to be perpendicular. So I want the slopes to be negative reciprocals, or I want their product to be negative 1. So looking at line A, I'm going to come up 2 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So A is positive 2 over 5. B I'm coming down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to the right 2. And these are negative reciprocals, so I know it's going to be perpendicular. But if I multiply them, I get negative 10 over positive 10, which is negative 1. So it passes both tests, so I know that, yes, these are perpendicular. All right, now example 3 wants you to draw the line that is parallel to line A and passes through point Z. So you're going to have to create a line that has the same slope. So we're drawing the line and it's parallel. Tell me the slope of the line. In example 6, you need to draw a line that is perpendicular to line A and passes through point Z. So you're drawing a line that's perpendicular. I want you to tell me the slope that you would get. So if I'm looking at this, I know that parallel lines have to have the same slope. So I know that line A has a slope of negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 6. So Z is also going to have a slope of negative 4 over 6. So I can do the opposite. I can go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and left 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because I still want my slope to be negative 4 over 6. I also could have done negative 2 over 3. So I could have gone down 2 and right 3 and created a point here. And there would be another point here. So again, that slope is going to be negative 2 over 3 or negative 4 over 6. It has to be the same. In example 6, I know that my slopes have to be negative reciprocals or they have to be equal to negative 1 when multiplied. So I'm going to look at my slope for line A. I'm coming up 4 and over 2. So that's positive 2 over 1. So I know that my slope for line B is going to have to be negative 1/2 because it has to be a negative reciprocal. So I'm going to come down 1 over 2 consistently to draw my line. And I can check this by saying 2 over 1 times negative 1 over 2. Well, that's negative 2 over 2, which simplifies to negative 1. So I know that those slopes are accurately perpendicular. So not a difficult process. You just have to make sure that you remember the rules for parallel and perpendicular.